Have you ever struggled with making perspective grid lines? In this video, I'm going to show you a quick, powerful tip utilizing Photoshop actions to save yourself a ton of time when it comes to doing repetitive tasks. So let's go ahead and get started. So here you can see a couple of examples of things that I've created using this action. Let's start off by making a brand new layer, and we're going to make sure that Window Actions is open. This is the Actions panel, and the Actions panel basically allows you to automate certain things within Photoshop. And what we're going to do is we're going to have Photoshop watch what we are going to do, and then it will remember it after we save our action, and then it will replay the action whenever we wish. So let's start off by making a brand new action. So we're going to click the plus button here. We're going to give our action a name. In this case, we'll call this create row of items. And these could be lines, circles, what have you. And then we're going to go ahead and give it a color. I'm going to choose yellow. We'll talk about that in a second. And then you can optionally go ahead and choose to assign a function key to an action. So when you press the function key, it will play that sequence of actions for you. And this set, if you have lots of actions, you might have multiple folder sets. So you can choose which folder set you want to save this particular action to. In my case, I've only got one folder set called My Actions, so I'm just going to leave that as is. So now that I've basically set up my action, I can now hit record. And Photoshop will watch everything that I do that is available on a menu or a toolbar item. It's not going to draw what I'm about to draw. It's just simply going to acknowledge it, but it's not going to record it. But the other steps that are involving keyboard shortcuts and what have you are going to be remembered by the tool. So you'll see this particular actions item start to expand as I perform tasks. Let's take a look and see what I'm talking about. Let's first of all create a horizontal line. I'm going to hold down the Shift key. I'm picking a reddish color, and I'm just going to go ahead and draw a line. And then what I'm going to do with that line is I'm going to hold down the Option Command T key, and what that'll do is it gives us a superpowered transform option that allows us to move our copy by holding the Shift and the down arrow. And I just tapped it a few times. I'm going to hit Enter, and so now it's created a secondary line that's underneath the first line that I've created. And then I'm going to just now create a series of lines that are going to be equally spaced by holding down the Shift, Option, Command, T key. And as I'm doing this, you'll see that the actions that are being recorded are also increasing for every time that I'm holding down this keystroke. All right, that should be good enough. You can see that I've got a ton of layers here. So maybe what we'll do is we'll now hold down the Shift key on the very first horizontal line that we've created, and we'll hit Command E to merge everything together. At this point, I can stop my recording. I can do that by holding down the Stop key or the Stop button on the Actions panel. So the way this is going to work is if I make a brand new layer and create a line of any type and go to my Actions panel and choose the action that I just created, which is create row of items, I can hit the play button and it will make copies of that, which is pretty neat. It not only made copies of it, but it also merged it into one layer, so I don't have to keep merging these things over and over again. So you can use this for creating horizontal lines. Once you have that in place, you can make a duplicate by hitting Command J and then Command T, and then you can rotate that. And now you've got a grid that you can now use. Now, the last part I want to talk about here is, remember when we made a color assignment of yellow for our action? What is that all about? Well, if we go to the hamburger menu under our Actions panel and we choose button mode, you will see that Create Row of Items has a yellow color underneath it. So this is really a cool way of quickly setting up your grids. And since you've watched for this long, here's a bonus tip. I'm going to go ahead and make a brand new layer. I will create my row of items, and we're going to talk about the transform warp tool. So if you hit Command T, and then right click and choose warp, you have the ability to choose from a set of predefined warps. And for rounded corners and things of that nature, I typically like to use bulge. The only issue here is the bulge is showing up in the center. If I want to move the bulge to the right or the left, I have some ability to control that. If I go up to where it says height, and if I were to just accelerate this by just clicking and dragging, you can see that the bulge now moves towards the right. And similarly, if I drag it all the way up to the opposite side, or I could type the number in, you can see that the bulge now is on the left. So that could be pretty cool when you're creating this kind of like a rounded Star Trek type of corridor, which I think is pretty neat. And then you can also come back and you can draw your line and run your create row of items. And now you've got these lines here that you can use, and you can hit Command T, you can choose perspective, pull out one of the corners, and now you've got, you know, the floor. And I'll just move this down like so. So pretty quick way of working. Let me know if you enjoyed this particular tip. If you want to see more of this type of stuff, let me know that as well. Thank you so much for the likes and the subscribes. I do appreciate each and everyone's support. Please let me know in the comments below if you have any other techniques or strategies that you would like me to explore within Photoshop in an upcoming video. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.